Tonight's audience is full of local independent voters, the majority of whom are from Tarrant County, Texas, which has been reported as one of the 15 battleground counties that could play a key role in this year's presidential election. We're going to find out which candidate voters feel won tonight's debate, and was there anything Donald Trump or Kamala Harris said that changed voters' minds. Plus, top behavior and body language experts, my dear friends Greg Hartley and Scott Rouse from the behavior panel are here to share what they saw after analyzing both candidates. You don't want to talk in front of these guys because they see what you don't say and hear what you don't say. But we'll talk to them here in just a little bit. So let's get started. First off, I'm interested in whether or not you thought tonight's debate was facilitated in a fair fashion or whether you thought it was facilitated in a biased fashion. If you thought the debate tonight was moderated fairly, raise your hand. Raise it real high so the camera can get it. Okay, that looks like maybe about half of you. If you think it was not fair, raise your hand. Okay, so more than half of you did think it was moderated fairly. Some of you did not think so. Who wants to tell me why you think it was not moderated fairly? Somebody raise your hand that wants to tell me why. Stand up if you will in the back in the suit, okay. Need a mic over here quickly. Where are my guys? You guys stay in the aisles here. I don't care if you're on camera or not. Stay close. Okay, say your first name and tell me why you think it was not moderated fairly.
First name is Vance. I don't feel it was moderated. I felt she kind of cut him off. Felt like multiple times there was just people cutting people off, specifically her.
That Kamala Harris was...
Yeah, they would just be like, cut it off and didn't give him enough time to respond or her enough time to respond. I just felt there was a lot of cutoff.
Okay. Well, now I don't want to cut you off, so I think it would be unfair. All right, good. Who else has an opinion about this? Anybody else that thinks it was not fair tonight? Okay, stand up, and we'll bring a mic right to you. Go. Say your first name.
My name is Michael. I feel like Donald Trump was just cutting off Kamala and really just wouldn't even look at her or give her any respect at all to talk. And I feel like if that was me to be up there, I would want that same respect. And I just feel like he didn't give it to her.
All right, and how about the moderators? Do you think they were being even-handed with both candidates?
I feel like they were being even, but at the same time, I feel like Trump was cutting them off a lot and just going over time, just trying to get his point out. And yeah, I just feel like he wasn't being very respectful at all.
Okay, how many of you agree with what was your name?
Michael.
Michael. How many of you agree with what Michael is saying, that he wasn't being respectful? Okay. How many of you think that matters, whether he was being respectful or not? Okay.
Very much.
Maybe a third of you. Okay. All right. Who else has a comment on the fairness of what went on tonight? Stand up. Microphone. Say your first name.
My name is Daniel. I actually think that it wasn't fair for the exact opposite reason. I think that Trump was actually thinking versus Kamala kept speaking over him in the alternate light. So.
Okay. And how about the moderators? Do you think they were being fair?
I don't, just because I feel like Trump kept getting asked harder questions versus Kamala kind of got thrown softballs, easier to answer.
Okay. How many of you agree with that aspect? Oh, wow. That's almost everybody. Well, not everybody, but 75% of you. Okay. All right, good. Now, let me ask you this. If there was something that was talked about tonight that you think was really important to you, there were a lot of topics talked about tonight. Was there something that jumped out at you that you've been waiting to hear discussed, you've been waiting to hear talked about that really resonated with you? What was it? Stand up, we'll bring you a microphone. Say your first name.
Hi guys, my name is Koa. And I think that one of the main things that really stood out to me that was talked about tonight was abortion and women's health care. And honestly, the thing that jumped out to me the most was when former President Donald Trump mentioned that women will carry their babies all the way to term and then choose to execute their babies. That really stood out to me. It felt a little bit uneducated and a little bit biased. But I think that honestly, on this topic specifically, I would side with Kamala Harris because she is a woman and she knows what it's like to have that health care restricted. And it's really scary for me. If I'm in a position where I need that emergency health care, I have to go all the way to New Mexico to go get that with the risk of being arrested, you know?
Okay. How many of you think abortion was a really big issue tonight and should be? Okay, raise your hand. Okay. Did you tend to side with Kamala Harris, or if you tended to decide with Kamala Harris, raise your hand. Okay, if you tended to decide with former President Trump, raise your hand. Okay, so you kind of evenly split on that, but you agree it was an important issue. Okay. Now, if there was another issue that jumped out at you, what was it? Yes, ma'am. Stand up right there, second row.
Hi, my name is Kemi. An issue that was really important to me that was brought up was Donald Trump allegedly dividing the country by race. I think that was not handled very well because, you know, something that he did say that was a big issue was him saying, oh, Obama wasn't born here, oh, Kamala isn't black. But now he's saying, well, I don't care what she is. So it feels very ingenuine, especially when race has been a big issue because of Donald Trump and his opinion and his policies on migration and immigration, and a lot of minorities have been affected negatively because of how he feels. So for him to just dismiss the topic like it's not important, like it's not something that he has repeatedly fed into, he could have done way better.
Okay. You're talking about several different things there, one being the border and immigration, right? Was that a big issue tonight? Raise your hand if the border's a big issue. Okay. Who won the debate about the border tonight? If you think that Kamala Harris had the strongest position on the border tonight, raise your hand. 4 of you. Well, if you think President Trump had the strongest position on the border, raise your hand. Okay, now some of you didn't raise your hand. So you're not sure? Those that didn't raise your hand? Or did I not ask the question right? Stand up. Say. Look, let's get you a mic.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Brianna. I think that nobody won the debate on the border tonight because when Trump was asked about the border, he kept going around that question and addressing other things. And with Kamala, she asked, she brought up a policy, about bringing more border patrol agents to the border and talking about how Donald Trump killed the bill. And she asked him to address that and he wouldn't address it. So I feel like both of them were avoiding giving a specific, a direct, clear answer on the border. And it just kind of, it wasn't really... That's why I said I don't think anybody won the, Yeah. So.
Well, you listened very carefully.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you listened very carefully about that. Thank you for that comment. Now, do you think it's important that we have a secure border? Does everybody agree with that? Do you think we have a secure border? Okay, does everybody agree that we don't have a secure border? Because that seemed like a kind of a uniform no. If you agree we don't have a secure border right now, raise your hand. Okay, everybody, pretty much, not everybody, but almost everybody thinks we need more security on the border.